Hey everybody, welcome back to X-Plane 11. I am Bill, and today we're going to check out the new SimCoders 172 Realism Expansion Pack update and focus on the flaps. The previous version, which is actually what I'm flying right now to do a compare the old version versus the new one, had some issues with slowing down with flaps in, with full flaps in. So we're in 53176 here, and we're about to take off from John Wayne. So we got lights, camera, and action. Let's get the mixture in there. We're not on any network here. This is just regular old X-Plane, controlled environment, real world weather actually at the moment. So this is going to be a short approach at John Wayne. It's a very weird pattern. Let's go full power here. It's a very weird pattern, which I won't talk too much about. There's no crosswind. Hey, let's see clouds. There's no crosswind or very little base. The center line got lost there a little bit. So as soon as you hit the departure end of the runway, you turn on a 15-degree offset upwind, which is right here, and you can't see them at the moment, but there are some buildings out there that you can aim at. It's Fashion Island, and then there's a little ACI down there. Once you hit 450 feet roughly, we're gonna make the turn to the downwind. There's a hotel you kind of use. The reason for me using this pattern is because it's something that I'm very familiar with. So I know that this short approach can be done. It's an 800-foot pattern, so it's relatively low. And I'm going to go basically beam the numbers. We're going to go power idle. We're just going to pull the power straight out and try to make the runway. I've done this before with my instructor, and I mean, you can do it wrong for it to not work, but like I said, this is a controlled environment, so hopefully we'll do it correct. We should still land, but we'll just see how the speed is affected. So there's a beam the numbers, and then there's power idle. So we're out right now. Power's out. Flaps 10 right there. So first notch of flaps, and then we get below full flap extension speed, which is 85. I'm not going to grab the second notch just yet. Just outside of the 405. So this is a short approach, but not really that short. There's a second notch in there, and this is where we should see the speed starting to bleed down a lot. We're trying to, let's get the third in there. It's as I'm turning final here. So you're not really supposed to go full forward slip with full flaps, but there it is. And let's see, you can see that the plane is speeding up a little bit. This is a little wonky, but the nose is pointed where we have full flaps and a full slip. It should not be speeding up. And we're pretty close to the runway there. There's Juliet. We're still able to float a little bit. And the stall horn, and we're down. So almost pretty much 3/4 of the way down the runway. Again, 3 notches of flaps, 30 degrees flaps in this plane, full slip, and the plane is speeding up. So SimCoders has supposedly addressed this according to their patch notes. And let's get the new version, the updated 172 in here, and see if it's any better. Okay, so now I've installed the SimCoders 172 Rep Pack version 4.3, and among some of the other improvements that they've made, we've got improved flap dynamics, and this is for X-Plane 11.4 as well. So 4.3 Rep Pack version and 11.4 X-Plane version is what we're looking at today. So hopefully, based off of the previous test, we'll see some improvement. I'm doing this for the first time, which is always dangerous. Obviously this is a video, so I can edit it out if something goes wrong. So if you're watching this, apparently, well, actually, spoiler alert, if you're watching this, it probably went either well or very bad. So, okay, let's get the lights on, camera, and action. I'm going to use the same pattern from before, which is why I wanted to do it at John Wayne, even though it's kind of an atypical pattern. But because I've done it so many times, I'll be able to replicate it easier. Now, they've made a bunch of other improvements on here. I'm not going to focus on any of those. There's some P-factor stuff, some ground roll physics that have changed, which is actually making it a little tiny bit easier to stay on center line, I guess. That's a little bit better. Okay, there's 55. And let's rotate. Again, at the end of the runway here, we're going to turn on to the 15-degree offset upwind. And we're pointing at the buildings over at Fashion Island, which we can't see. So same exact pattern, 450 feet roughly, we're going to turn out. Now, there are some other improvements, so this might not fly exactly the same pattern in terms of climb rate and engine performance and stuff. There were a few fueling and P-factor curve model updates and everything, so there's other things that work here than just the flaps, but the speed is what I really want to see. I want to see if, when I pull the power over the numbers, if we land further out or closer than we did, or if it's the same. And I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit closer, or at least the speeds will be in check. We're still likely to float this thing because it's a 172, but I want to look at the speeds and see how they change. So there's idle. We're totally idle. There's the first notch of flaps. And we're going to be idle all the way down. Unless it looks like I'm going to be short if these flaps really were updated. I'm going to turn right over to see this little parking lot here. The second notch of flaps. I'm kind of going to keep it in between the 405 and whatever this road is. I can't remember. So there is the field. We're a little bit higher, but the speed with 2 notches of flaps is coming down. Okay, there's the third notch, and the speed went down. Third notch of flap, the speed went down with 500 feet per minute descent. We're still at 500 feet per minute here, so we're gonna have to do another crazy slip here, full flaps. But already this is looking much better. We're not speeding up, and we're at 1,300 feet per minute. Oh, there's about 1,450 feet per minute down, and the speed has not gone up. We're at about 70, which is still gonna float like crazy, but we were halfway between Juliet and Hotel. Let's see where we land now. There's 55. Whoop, a little wonky there. Right at Juliet, and we're straight off the runway. Okay, so that is as close as I can get it to matching the first time, and I think they fixed it. Is it perfect? No. Does it mimic the real plane exactly? Nope. But it is way better than it was before. I know they had a lot of feedback regarding the flap dynamics, the pitch ballooning too much, so they've dialed that down a little bit as well. But the speed control is definitely the thing that I was having the most problems with flying this plane, and trying to mimic the real world patterns in some of these airports and short approaches and some of the stuff that you can do in the real plane. This thing spun around here in the midfield run up. So I would say that the improved flap dynamics that they've added have worked. I can't wait to give this plane fly it a little bit more into some different situations, but this one was the situation that I had the most issues with in terms of it's a procedure. It's an engine out in the pattern is not some if you have an engine out, let's hope it's in the pattern, but that's best case scenario, but it's something that we practice all the time, and it was so off in the sim with the rep pack that it was kind of a bummer. So I think they fixed it to the point where you can at least do it and not have, you know, an 80 knot speed coming over the numbers. We were still at about 70, maybe a little bit less than 70 coming down. I'll have to take a look at it again, which is way better than it was before. Still not exactly where I think you could be, although if you fly it incorrectly, if you're pitched down too much, you can go that fast. But this felt better. The results were better. SimCoders listened to the feedback, and I have no doubt that the other improvements will show through as well the more I fly this. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. You can also join me live on Twitch. The link will be in the description as well. Thank you so much for joining me, checking this out. If you don't have the rep pack and you do fly a 172, especially a 172S, you've got to pick this up. It makes the default plane in X-Plane so fun. So join me live at twitch.com, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.